The weather's on the change in the lakes here this afternoon, so we've just come towards the end of a really hot spell. We're due for it to rain overnight at some point, so I thought it would be a good night to test the big Agnes tent again. I've had a few nights out in it now, and I've definitely formed some opinions of it. I've also tried some mods on it, and want to see what they're like tonight. But yeah, we'll see how we go. These two folks are the first two I've seen. I wonder if they know it goes dark at 9:30 now. They don't look like they're staying out all night. They may be bringing MRT later. Anywho, the sun's right above Sharp Edge, but you can see roughly where I'm going. Right into the sun. I'll probably camp below there, but I'll also be very tempted to do all that. It's a lovely evening out here tonight. See if I can show you. There we go. Look what it's like. Which is no bad thing for testing the tiger wall. Just gotta get somewhere I can test it now. There's a fire in the next valley. I don't think it should be able to get here, but the wind direction would generally let it if it got big enough. That's probably not a problem for a little while though. Anyway, all the more excuse for a top out and a look down and see. So, I'm up at the tarn. There is my bag. I've done a very quick stash because I'm just going to nip up round Sharp Edge on a quick lap and come back down the path at the back there. The Sharp Edge. So, I'll get back to my tent and we'll get undoing. Unpacking. I'm up on Sharp Edge now. Still got some sun. Still got the two little old dudes behind us. Lovely now. That's Sharp Edge finished. There's my bag drop. There's the top. Sadly, it's getting a bit windy, so you probably can't hear me very well. I'm on the summit and the weather's definitely on the turn. Oh well. Time to get down to the tent and get settled in for the night, I think. Right, so I've made a couple of mods to my tent. Mod 1, Alpkit stuff set. Mod 2, extra pegs. This here is one of the problems that I've found with the tent. The stake outputs are like this, they're completely non-adjustable. It becomes a problem when your tent stretches or sags, or when it's really windy. I've made a mod that might help, but the big one you could just do is give extra tent pegs to people, big Agnes. So these little clips work really well, they're just little ball sockets. Similarly, these clips here work well. They really help you set up the tent fast, which is brilliant when it's in a first setup. So altogether, it's actually a fairly sturdy structure. Obviously, it doesn't have the double kind of strength of the copper spare, with only a single pole down the back, which is more reminiscent of a fly creek. But obviously, you're going to get a lot more room in this tent. I'll put the fly on because it is going to rain tonight, and I'll show you where my adaptations start taking place. It's good to see some bits of common sense on such a lightweight tent. There's reinforced pockets that this pole goes into the end of here in the middle of the tent, and it just makes the whole thing a lot sturdier. Once the middle pole's attached to the outer, it's really easy. You just simply clip and tighten the buckles. I'll go round and do the other one. They're nicely colour-coded, which makes it really easy, even one-handed. This is where my adaptations start. Normally you'd attach this loop here off this corner of the fly sheet down onto this peg. However, when it pisses it down, that's no use, because then the tent sags. So I have added this. Simple line lock, nice and tight. I think that will hold better. That way you don't need any more pegs, and you should be able to adjust it even when it rains. As you can see, I've attached line locks to each of the corners just to be able to get a little bit more ability to adjust my tent. The other thing you might notice is the odd little red MSR needle there. So the tent really needs 3 extra stakes to be able to be decorated. I don't know if this is a boo-boo or not, but yeah, it does. Zipping and unzipping the big Agnes, you have to be really careful not to get it caught, because it's just too easy to do it, and the fabric is so delicate. You can already see one of the problems I've had with the tent before now. The fabric on the outside is relaxed off a bit, and you can see down here, just where this corner stands up, the inner and the outer touch, there really isn't that much room between the two. It's a couple of inches max. Down there, they pretty much touch. Same in that corner. So I'm going to pop outside, and I'm going to remedy the situation with extra pegs. So as you can see here, we've got the original cord coming down to 1 peg, and then here's the cord that I would just have to have hooked over that, which caused that problem I was just showing you. So I've attached my new line out to a different peg, and it's lifting it away nicely. We'll just tighten that up. And the same on this side. You can see the outer touching the inner. There's only one way to fix that. You've got to bring this away. So, is the big Agnes Tiger Wool UL2 livable? Well, for one, brilliant. For two, it does work. Me and my girlfriend have slept in this, and with 2 vestibules, the very close and cosy space inside was fine, as long as we didn't have our kit in. If we had our kit in, then it got a bit interesting. But while our kit was in the vestibules, there was more than enough space for both of us. How long you'd want to do that for is another question. But for one, backpacking, I'm 6 foot tall, I'm sat on a camping mat, I'm sitting up absolutely fine. I've got shoulder room, I can get changed. It is so much more livable than the single entry type tents that it's untrue. But there are compromises, and there are definite negatives so far. Even with the corners pegged out that I was just showing you, well, I can tell you now that one corner is just about, only just not touching, probably about 1/4 inch. The other side, I've got it about 1/2 inch off the tent. These are the sacrifices you make when you buy an ultralight tent. These are the sacrifices that come with hybrid tent designs. They don't always manage the best of everything. Sometimes they have to have the worst. It's a pretty rough night here. We're standing up to a little storm. But goodness, the Tiger Wool's doing well. Things that you definitely become aware of are things like how close the inner is to the outer, because it gets stuck on the outer occasionally. But apart from that, it's doing pretty well. Wish the weather would settle enough that I could get some sleep though. While it's gusty and angry like this, it just wakes you up every 5 minutes. Morning. Turned out that was possibly the worst weather I've had the Tiger Wool out in. It stood up to some pretty big gusts, and yeah, it bucked and bowed a little bit, but it's still standing. The footbox on my sleeping bag is a little bit damp. That's partly because I'm 6 foot tall, and so if my head's at the one end, my feet are touching the other, unfortunately. But hey ho. And looking around this morning, actually, the tent's still pretty taut. Look at this. I think the mods I put in have actually helped quite a lot. So that's one thing to consider. either just pegging it out separately between the fly and the inner, or putting on line locks like I have and actually getting a really taut symmetrical pitch. Maybe that is the answer. It's a good little tent still, and I have to bear in mind, I don't know if you can see this, but the bottom end of where I've pitched here is not ideal. It's definitely dropping away, and it's not going to have helped things. That's the joy of camping in wild places in the UK. There's not the nice flat campgrounds of the backwaters of the US. It's put your tent where you can, and sometimes the prettiest place is not necessarily the flattest place. Anyway, I'm going to get it all packed up. We'll have a look at what it looks like from the outside first, and then I'm off for some hot food and a bath at my mum and dad's. It's really not in bad shape, is it? So it could be tightened a little bit. There we go. But yeah, quite impressed with that. It rained basically all night as well. Right, we'll get the tent down, get it packed away, and go and get something to eat.